Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to show you how I use the web app called Nirvana to handle my GTD workflow. Now, in my opinion, this app, if you're looking for a task manager that is list-based, not one that is more graphic-based with the Kanban cards and such, but if you're looking for just something that'll manage your lists and do it in the GTD methodology, this app is the way to go. So probably the main reason why I like Nirvana so much is that right out of the box, it gives you the GTD functionality that at least that I'm expecting without having to do any hacks or trying to do workarounds or use features in ways they may not have been designed for just to make my system work. To me, Nirvana has everything covered just right out of the box, and it's a trustworthy system. So I'll get more into why I feel that way about this app as I kind of step through some demos and examples of how I use the system, and then I'll point out the features that are really important to me that I'm glad I don't actually have to do anything special or, like I said, like to do a hack to make it work the way I want it to work. So let's start with over here on the left panel. This has all your expected GTD lists, your inbox, your next, your waiting fors, your schedules, your some days. They also include this list, the focus list, which I like as well because when you're actually getting down to doing the items, you don't want to have to sift through hundreds of items in your next actions list or such. I like the ability to be able to just drill down to the focus list when I'm doing actions. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So now I'm going to go ahead and just add a couple of items to my inbox, things that are on my mind at the moment. So here that I'm in, clicked on the inbox, I can hit the N key to add a new item. Let's say one of the things I need to do is I need to vacuum my bedroom. When I'm done with that, I can hit enter and that'll create the item. Now let's another good feature that I like about Nirvana. Sure, I could click the N again, add another item. Maybe I need to order a birthday cake, and I could just do this over and over, adding items one at a time. There's a nice little feature in Nirvana. If I have a larger list that I want to rattle off, I don't have it turned on yet, but I can go to settings, and in preferences there's a rapid entry. So if I change that to show, you'll see a line up here where instead of hitting N to create new items every time, I can just type in here, hit enter, and kind of rapidly fire those off. So let's say a couple of other items I had, and maybe I need to, I don't know, pay the mortgage, and I need to pick up my dry cleaning. How about I'm going to plan a trip to France, and maybe need to put brakes on the car. So it's really simple to add items to the inbox. I kind of like how quickly you can work in this app. So there we go. Got my inbox ready to go. Now, I realize I haven't really shown anything groundbreaking yet. I've just added a few items to an inbox. There's plenty of other apps that do the same thing. But I think where Nirvana really starts to stand out, at least for me, is when it comes time to organize these items and to process them. So let me just kind of jump into some of the features I like about Nirvana when it comes time to process. For starters, what I would definitely recommend when working in Nirvana is going back to the settings and then the preferences. There is this option here, which inbox and areas, where you have a chance to automatically assign one of your next actions to the current area that you're looking at, that you're filtered into. What I would definitely recommend is to turn this on. I'll show you kind of what this will do. So I turned on the radio button to assign tasks to current area. And what that applies to is over here in the top, right now you can see I'm filtered by all areas. But on this drop down, this is where you can kind of, and I use these as contexts. I know area of focus in GTD terminology is different from a context, but for Nirvana, I like to use this area drop down as my context. So let me change this to home. And then, so now what this is basically saying is I'm looking at everything in my home context, my at home. But another good thing about this, by turning on that setting, is that if I drag vacuum bedroom over to my next action list, you can see it dropped out of the inbox. And if I go to my next list, there it is. And what you also see over here is that it assigned the at home context. It kind of cascaded down automatically. I think that's a great feature. So I'd recommend turning that on. If I didn't have that turned on and I dropped this over my next action list, I wouldn't have this area assigned, so then I'd have to go in and actually do it. It's just an extra step. So I just kind of like having it set to where all the tags will cascade down when I drag the items over. So ordering a birthday cake is another thing I'll do at home, so I can drag that over to next, and you can just see how easily this works. Paying the mortgage is the next. Pick up dry cleaning. If you want to do like an at errands, which I don't have set up here on this demo account, but I can go to manage areas, and I can create another one if you want to do an at errands or what have you. So let's just drag these all over. Pick up dry cleaning is the next action. Planning a trip to France is obviously not a single action, it's a project. Another good thing here, Nirvana is so compatible with drop and drag. I can just drag this over and put it over into projects. And there you go, the planned trip to France has become a project. And put brakes on a car is technically a project too. Takes more than one step to do it. I may need to go to the auto parts store to buy them. I may need to call up a buddy to help me. I don't know. So you see, yeah, just drop it over into projects. It's drop and drag. It's really friendly, and that's all you got to do to process your items. As long as you've got the setting turned on where you can have it cascade the tag down depending on what area you're looking at. So I think that's a great feature. Okay, let me jump over here back to my next action list, talk about a couple other features I really like about this application. One of the things that you do have the ability to do on the next action is just click the star. If you do that, that puts it down in your focus list. And as I kind of mentioned earlier, when I'm in the role of doing items, I really like to look at a smaller list. So I'm able to click a star just to put it down in the focus. And if I decided I want it to go off the list, I unstar it. It'll go away. It's still in my next actions. Let's say, for paying my mortgage, it's pretty easy to assign a due date, which is certainly something you want to do, so you don't forget. Let's say this is when it's due. It'll always kind of be prevalent when you're looking at the list, so that's great. And another great thing now, when you assign due dates or contexts or tags or things of that nature, then all the applicable ones on the list you're on will start appearing here in this upper bar. This little calendar, that's telling me that I have at least one item in my list with a due date. Now if I click it, it'll show every item that has a due date. And if I unclick it, it'll go away. A couple of other sorts of tags or identifiers you can put on. This would be time, for instance. So I can say vacuuming my bedroom would take 15 minutes. And as you start doing that, you see these options growing. Let's say for ordering a birthday cake, that's it. Maybe it's too early to do that. Maybe it's for a birthday party next month, and I don't want to do that now, but maybe I want to do it in a couple of weeks. I could take this item and I could drag it over to the scheduled list. And if I do that and drop it, and I can say now in the schedule list, you're basically saying when do you want that item to appear back in your system again to look at? Well, when's the first chance you can take action on it? So let's say I say 2 weeks from now. Well, is when it'll be scheduled. Now you can see it came off my next action list, which is good because it's an item I can't move on yet. So with GTD, you only want to see things available to you at the moment. And something that I can't even start for 2 weeks is not available to me. So it kind of it goes away from the next action list, which is great. But if you ever want to see those items, you can go to your scheduled list and you can see that it's there. And you can see May 24th is the date I've selected for when it'll reappear in my system. But another great thing that I like about Nirvana that I don't like about other apps, even other apps that have a scheduled bucket the same way, is that when it comes back in your system, you'll know about it because it'll automatically put a star on it. So it'll show up on your focus list on the day that it's due to come back. So on May 24th, this item's going to come back, not only come back in my system, but it's not going to be just buried back in there in my next action list. It's going to be in my focus list saying, hey, I'm back. What do you want to do with me? Or what have you. So I really like that. Let me drag this back into, let's say the date is no longer valid. I wanted to come back in the list. I can drop and drag it right back into next. It comes back into next, takes the scheduled date away. It's back. So that's kind of reiterating. I love the drop and drag features of here. I don't have to actually open the items all the time. Go in here, change what list they're on. Same thing, I can drag it if for whatever reason pay mortgage was part of a project. I can drag and just put it into a project. And there you go. Now it's in my planned trip to France project. And to even take the drop and drag features to the next level, Nirvana allows you to group items together for drop and drag. So let's say all three of these items are on my next action list, and for whatever reason I want to move them to my someday list, what have you. What I can do is I can put my cursor kind of below here, and then as I left click and move up, you see how it's drawing this little box, but it's every one that it's touching is putting that gray around it. This is kind of doing a multi-select. So when I do that, I can grab it, and as you see, I can take all three of those items and move them to someday at the same time. And there they are. So you can move groups of objects at the same time or do one at a time, drop and drag. Even if I'm going to pick up my dry cleaning, let's say I'm delegating that to somebody, I can move it over to my waiting for list, and I'm waiting for mom to do that. Hit OK. Now you can see over in waiting. We're waiting for mom to pick up dry cleaning. Mom does that, move it back to next actions. It's so friendly to drop and drag on here, and that's certainly one of my favorite features about this application. So I'd also like to make another point about due dates. And this is another thing I really like that Nirvana does that other apps don't, that gives you a sense, kind of that sense of security that everything that is where you need it at the time you need it, nothing's falling through the cracks, you're not missing anything, you didn't somehow sabotage yourself by not doing this hack you created, by not doing that correctly or messing something up. It's kind of foolproof in Nirvana, and it's something I really like. So let's say, let me go back to pay mortgage. And this is an important thing to not forget to do, right? So let's say this was actually due today. Okay, so I've done that. You'll notice the checkbox turned red. You got a little red number over here, and it's due today. It's really going to be hard to miss the fact that something important is occurring in your system today. Now you see it's down on your focus list. Any item that becomes due, like the day that it's due, it will automatically go to your focus list. Things that will go to your focus list automatically are items that were in your scheduled list that are coming back because they have the start date is today, or items that are due today. And the other items that are in your focus are the ones you manually went through and put the star on. So if I click the star here, it'll go here. There's always a warning that something's due today. And here's another great thing. Let's say it's due today, but I wanted to take the star off of it. When I click that, you see that due date prevents moving from focus, which it's kind of a nice little check just to prevent you from messing up your own system. There's no way you can get this out of your focus list if it has a due date of today or a due date in the past. You can't sabotage yourself. And I know for me, sometimes I get caught up in my system, and you come up with special little hacks to get around things, and you may end up sabotaging yourself by removing a star you shouldn't have removed or what have you. Nirvana prevents all that, so that's great. I'd also like to just point out another feature. It's not really advertised that highly on this site, but it does have gives you the option to do subtasks under a task. It's not so intuitive right off the bat, but you certainly can do that, and it is also a nice feature. So let's say under pick up dry cleaning, I wanted to create subtasks. Well, if you just look here, you don't see anything saying add a subtask, but you do have the ability to do that within the notes box here. Now in notes, you can just type a note of some sort, certainly, but you can also bury subtasks in your notes. And the way you do that was with the dash and then a space. So if I do dash and space, let's say I'm calling for hours, and I want to call them for hours, and I want to ask about pricing or whatever. Now this looks just like a regular note, but if I hit save, once I hit save, this is designated that there is a note, and watch what happens when I open this. Those dashes that were in the notes turned into checkboxes, which I can actually click, which is kind of neat. So yeah, the subtasks are, let's say, it's kind of buried into the system, and they don't really advertise it, but it's there. So I just wanted to point that out as well. It's kind of a neat little thing. And what you can kind of see what's going on behind the scenes as well. Let's say if I click that as being done, and I go back in here to see the note, you see it replace the dash with an X. That's really all that's occurring. So the subtasks are more kind of a visual thing. But you do have the option of creating those. So I just wanted to point that out because I don't know if a lot of people actually know that that exists in Nirvana. So that pretty much wraps up everything that I thought was interesting, and of the various features that I think make Nirvana a unique list-based task manager over some of the other applications out there. So I just want to thank you for taking a few time to check out this video. Pretty much the big takeaways, at least for me, for Nirvana, are the drop and drag ability is amazing. It's so intuitive, so easy to work in this application, and also just the simple checks and balances in place in Nirvana make it to where you don't have to hack the GTD portion of the system. Are there other applications out there that have other features and maybe more robust features beyond the core GTD? Absolutely. And you may research some of these other apps and think that those other features themselves make it worth the fact that you may have to do certain hacks within the GTD portion of your system. But to me, GTD is about trusting the system, making sure you have the information you need when you need it, and to me, nothing beats Nirvana as far as a list-based task manager goes. There are other task managers out there that are more visual-based with the Kanban boards and such, and I do have a video out for the application Meister Task, which is another app I really like for different reasons. If you're more of a visual person and you don't want to, or maybe you aren't as productive working in lists, like seeing lists of items, you're more into the visual of dropping and dragging Kanban cards, I kind of invite you to take a look at that video on Task, which is another one of my favorites task managers. Gives you kind of a lot of the same GTD ability, but just in a different format, and maybe that'll work better for you. But like I said, if you're into lists and you can work well from lists and get things done, to me, nothing beats Nirvana. So, hope that helps. Thanks for checking out the video. Take care.